Well, here it is. See, I bet you thought I canceled the Jojo marathon, and well, you'd be right. But hey, too bad I went back on my word, because I uncanceled the Earthbound Zero Let's Play, so I can uncancel this too. Now, you're gonna sit back and relax while I go over things that Diamond is Unbreakable fans have already heard a million times. Because if there's one thing Diamond is Unbreakable fans like, it's memes. And this part has a lot of memes. Even I'm guilty of making a few. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about my thoughts on the long-running 8-part franchise that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So, let me ask you a question. What do you get when you mix Jonathan's sense of justice and courage, Joseph's quick wits, and Jotaro's sheer badassery? You get Josuke Higashikata, and Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. This is the part of the video where I go over small bits of trivia like the last 3 videos. And just like the last 3 parts, this one had a different name during its initial publication, that being JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Josuke Higashikata. No other subtitles like the others got though, so it's a little bit weird. Fitting that this is the 4th part of the series, because it also features 4 of Araki's all-time favorite characters he's made. Do you know that he likes Shigechi more than Dio? It's pretty wild. Also, do you know that Morio is based on Araki's hometown of Sendai? Okay, yeah, sure you may have known that, but here's one I'm sure you didn't know. The Japanese voice actors for Okuyasu and Shigechi are the Japanese voices of Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny. That literally blew my mind when I learned that, and I had to share it. I hope I've ruined Daffy Duck forever for you. Anyway, enough trivia, it's time to dig into that plot. Oh, and spoiler warning for those who haven't read the manga or watched the anime yet. I know I didn't do this for the last 2 videos, but I've changed my ways, so skip to this part of the video if you don't want to be spoiled, or keep watching if you do, because I don't care. The year is 1999, and Jotaro Kujo is back in action, but not the way you might think. He's traveling to Morio, Japan off of S City in search of Josuke Higashikata. As it turns out, old man Joseph got busy with a Japanese college student, not that I blame him, and this kid popped out 16 years later. After bumping into a reliable guy, the two see Josuke in action, messing up some bullies and seemingly fixing a turtle. They talk for a bit, and after a mix-up with his hair, Jotaro realizes that Josuke does indeed have a stand by the name of Crazy Diamond, or Shining Diamond if you're watching the English dub. Now, Jotaro and Josuke are stand users, but reliable guy Koichi Hirose isn't, but he will be later, so don't worry. Jotaro had another mission, and now that he knows Josuke can help him, they start their plan to find Angelo, a man who kept appearing in Joseph's Hermit Purple spirit photography when he kept trying to find pictures of Josuke instead. Their plan to find him goes well until he finds them instead, and his stand Aqua Necklace kills Josuke's grandpa and keeps them hostage in their own house. Eventually, he stopped and turned into a rock, but not before mentioning that a man somehow has the power to bestow a stand via the use of a bow and arrow. That becomes their next goal, and soon Koichi and Josuke meet Okuyasu Nijimura and his brother Keicho, who have that arrow. After they fight, Keicho is killed by an unknown man in his stand, Red Hot Chili Pepper, who totally wasn't the inspiration for Golden Frieza or anything like that. Okuyasu stops being an asshole and turns into a lovable goofball who joins their team to find the unknown man who killed his brother and stole the stand arrow. So then, their goal is stopping him, but along the way they get sidetracked by some high school kid in his puppet stand, a weird short guy in his lock stand who inadvertently helps Koichi unlock his stand ability after it was kind of awakened by being shot by Keicho and the arrow. Then Ko gets distracted and kidnapped by some psychopath woman who's got the hots for him and was the inspiration for the entire yandere genre, who is still pretty hot, so I'll let it slide. Oh, and then Josuke and Okuyasu eat Italian food. After that, they meet Akira, who is in control of Chili Pepper, who wants to get rid of Jotaro and the others so he can live a carefree life, free of student loans and police officers. This is when we're reintroduced to Joseph Joestar. Yeah, sorry for the lack of fanfare, but they don't really treat it as a big of an event as they should. Because the guys couldn't track down Akira, they had Joseph come all the way to Morio to use his Hermit Purple to help him find them. He's now super old though, and is more than happy to get away from Suzy Q, seeing as how she found out he cheated on her. Though Joseph is apparently senile now, and Hermit Purple isn't what it used to be. I don't buy that though, because at the end of the series he seems just as fine as he used to be. Probably just an act. He doesn't end up even using it or helping them though, because Okuyasu beats the shit out of Akira himself, which leaves Joseph with nothing to do after that part. Sure, we get a touching moment with Josuke and a mini-arc about them finding an invisible baby, which leads to many laughs and many touching moments, but Old Man Joseph doesn't amount to much here and is rarely used after this. That's pretty upsetting to me, considering how much I like him, and I wanted Araki to explore the father-son dynamic between Joseph and Josuke a bit more. Well anyway, now that Akira failed, he hands over the arrow, but not before revealing that he shot a few rats with it for fun, so now Josuke and Jotaro have to go hunt rats. Before they do that though, Koichi and Hazamada, who was in control of the puppet stand surface from earlier, they have to go meet Araki's self-insert Rohan Kashibe, who's a creepy asshole and voiced by Broly in the dub, so that's pretty good range.
And who, pray tell, are you? Why are you here? Some kind of prank?
Rohan and his stand Heaven's Door is overpowered and can be used to completely stop an opponent and overwrite their entire life, but I'll go into more detail on him later. After getting the shit kicked out of him by Josuke, we learn from Koichi that Josuke cares a lot about his hair and doesn't like people making fun of him because as a kid, he was saved by someone who had the exact same hairstyle. So an insult on his hair, he takes as an insult on the man who saved them. We never learn more about that, by the way, and to this day, Araki refuses to elaborate on that. Pretty weird. But with Rohan out of the way, Josuke and Jotaro go hunt rats, and we get some cool moments with Jotaro using his time stop and Josuke shooting BB rounds, even though extending a stand's range through bullets is never really brought up again. But I guess there is kind of a callback to that moment at the end of the part, but that concept is never really explored again, which is a shame. After that, we get more Rohan antics, and then we meet Reimi, who is a pretty hot ghost girl and warns of a serial killer who's loose on the town. But that isn't important because then we meet some snot-nosed kid named Shigechi, who has little to no bearing on the overall story. And we also get a mini-arc of Yukiko, who is that psychopath woman, trying to become beautiful to win Koichi's heart and apologize for being a psychopath. Though, with the filler out of the way, which the anime handles a lot better by the way, we finally learn about that serial killer. His name is Yoshikage Kira. He's 33 years old and lives in the northeastern section of Morio, where all the villas are. He then murders Shigechi with the power of his stand, Killer Queen, or Deadly Queen if you're watching the dub. And by the way, that isn't a major loss if you ask me, but that gives the gang a clue on how to find him and stop him. So, finally, the real plot kicks in, and the story actually goes somewhere, and gets really interesting. The rest of the series, though, keeps jumping between Kira antics and lots of filler. For every awesome fight we get between Jotaro, Kira, and Koichi and sheer heart attack, there's rock, paper, scissors boy, and alien dice. So after getting the shit kicked out of him by a wounded Jotaro, he kills the lady that helped Yukiko become beautiful after she changed his face with someone else. So now, Yoshikage Kira has completely changed faces and bodies with another man, so all the info they had on him is pretty useless now, and the mystery hunt for the killer begins. Then a grand total of nothing happens for a really long time. We get a rock, paper, scissors battle, a weird alien boy that goofs on Rohan and turns into dice, Kira's ghost dad trying to recruit stand users, and an admittedly awesome mini-arc with Highway Star, which is undoubtedly the third, if not the second best arc in the whole part. And some weirdo who doesn't want people to see his back, and a weirdo that lives in a cell phone tower, and Shigeru Miyamoto who likes to fold people's moms, and then it all culminates on Thursday, July 15th, where the plot decides to pick up again. Yoshikage Kira is really Kosaku Kawajiri, who has a smoking hot wife and a little shitty son named Hayato. After getting a plant cat, Kira gains the ability to rewind time thanks to being stabbed by the arrow after killing Hayato, who found out that his fake dad is a murderer. This culminates in a thrilling 6-episode finale where Hayato has to repeat the same day over and over again, all while Josuke and the gang are killed off one by Kira's ability, Bites the Dust, which thankfully did not get changed in the dub. If anyone asks about Kira's identity or Hayato spills the beans, Killer Queen instantly kills them and resets time over and over again. Eventually, Hayato outsmarts Kira Groundhog Day style and manages to get Josuke there before anyone can die again. Josuke and Kira finally fight! Josuke saves Hayato from dying, Okuyasu dies too but says lol, no, and then comes back to life to save the day. Kira's pinned down and then threatens to activate Bites the Dust one more time on an innocent woman. That is until, with help from Koichi, Jotaro is able to stop time, beat the shit out of him again, and send Kira flying into the loving wheels of an ambulance where he's killed once and for all, never to return, ever, I mean it. So yeah, Reimi gets to go to heaven, Jotaro and Joseph go back to America, and Josuke assumes his role as protector of his town. A golden heart through and through, he helps to ensure everyone in Morio from now on will get their happy ending. From now on, anyway. Alright, you're skipping ahead to skip the spoilers? Then welcome. Happy to have you here. This is the part of the video where I go over what I like, what I didn't like about this part. So, if you're new here, welcome. Real happy to have you here. Hope you stick around. But if you're a returning visitor, thank you for sticking around this far. Part 4 is kind of weird. I think it has the least amount of structure as all the previous parts and the ones to come after it. Part 1, Dio's a dick, go stop him. Part 2, the Pillar Men want a shiny rock so they can become the ultimate dicks, go stop them. Part 3, Dio is back and he's being a dick again, go stop him for good this time, for real, never to return. Part 4 is, okay, let me go find Josuke, then let's go find Angelo, okay, now let's go get this other guy. Oh, he isn't really the bad guy, let's go get Akira. That turns out he isn't the bad guy either. By the time Kira shows up, there wasn't a clear goal for our protagonist. It was very by the numbers. This guy's causing trouble. Go stop him. And it turns out, there's someone else causing trouble as well. Go stop them too. It's very slice of life in a way. Instead of our characters having epic battles, they're avoiding weird girls that have crushes on them, protecting their mom and sister from a con artist, helping a manga artist make his best work. It helps that the story is very low stakes, so you can connect with it more. Dio and the Pillarmen wanted to take over the whole world, while Kira, he just wants a quiet life where he can satisfy his murderous urges in a discreet way that won't go noticed. So while Josuke and the gang are still hoping to stop a horrible villain, he's horrible for a different reason, and that helps you bond with the setting more. By the time Kira does come into the story, you get a real feel for Morio. You know where everything is, you know how to get around it, you know the kind of people that live there. So the homey feeling of this part hits hard in all the right places. Araki said that when making Josuke, he wanted him to be like a kind-hearted, unassuming neighbor. You know, someone you would be friends with, and I think he struck gold. Josuke is a very relatable and likable protagonist, who just happens to have an incredibly powerful stand. I'm sure we've all met someone like Josuke in our lives. He is the perfect friend. Koichi and his stand Echoes, which is reverb in the dub, I think is also very interesting. It's easy to write off little old Kuchi here as funny, short, reliable guy that screams a lot and has eggs stand, but he's more to it than that. His stand evolves as he does. Reverb starts as an egg because Ko was stabbed by the arrow and healed prematurely so it didn't properly develop. It only evolved as he grew as a character. The idea of an evolving act-based stand is an awesome concept, and one that Araki would go on to use in later parts. Okuyasu and The Hand are probably the most underutilized characters in the bunch. I think even more so than the likes of Abdul. I think he gets maybe 2 fights in the whole series? I think The Hand is Vanilla Ice's Cream, but simplified and magnified for the better. Whereas Cream was for pure destruction and didn't have much control, The Hand has full control, and its space-scraping abilities are used in many creative ways. The only downside is that it's slow, and Okuyasu isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, so it balances out. Now for the big one. Rohan Kashibe and his Heaven's Door is quite possibly the most broken stand in the series. Yes, even more than that one. His ability to stop someone dead in their tracks, write something into them, all while instantly learning everything and anything about the person in seconds, and the person having no idea what happened, is super broken. He can also rip the pages out of you. You lose weight, you lose memories, he could write onto himself that nobody could harm him, or that he couldn't age, he could make you deaf or blind, he could change what language you speak, and he does 4 of those things to Koichi! If it weren't for the fact that Rohan is a stuck-up, annoying asshole, he would easily be one of the most helpful and powerful characters. And Araki can deny that he loves Rohan the most all he wants, but I think we all know the truth. Is it still a bad opinion to say that the manga looks like shit early on? Characters constantly changing size and design, and some of the characters just look off. The anime cleans up everything and gives everyone their late game designs from the beginning, with the exception of Jotaro's outfits and Koichi's hair. I mentioned earlier that the flow of part 4 is unlike any other part, as instead of having one concrete goal, the characters just kind of float around from place to place instead. That's none more apparent than in the later half. Kira's dad just randomly sending stand users is boring and forgettable filler. Last year when I was watching the dub on Toonami, I forgot just how much nothing you have to sit through until the July 15th episodes finally show up. I don't care about Rock Paper Scissors Kid. I don't care about Cheap Trick and the stupid Rohan dance. I like Mikitaka, and I think he's really cool, but he serves no purpose on the overall plot, and he doesn't matter. The guy that lives in the cell phone tower doesn't matter. Yuya and his Highway Star are really cool, but why does Highway Star create a fake room with a fake Kira inside it to trap Rohan? Was he working with Kira? How did he know that he was now Kosaku? Why does Koichi become friends with Hazamada? Are we just going to ignore the fact that he jerks off to pictures of his classmates and made a kid stab himself in the eyeball and die? Why does Shinobu have such a dump truck ass? There's so many unanswered questions. I think the positives of this part definitely outweigh the negatives and the unanswered questions though, so I can really let it slide. Before I wrap it up though, I cannot possibly go without mentioning the main villain of this part, Yoshikage Kira. He absolutely steals the show, and there's never been a bad guy before that you actually root for and hope things turn out okay for him in the end. You get glimpses that he's really falling for Shinobu, but Hayato ruins that. Yeah, Hayato comes into his own down the line, but early on he's just an annoying little shit and I don't care about him. I don't like him one bit. Every scene Kosaku Kira is in is bone-chilling. DP did a fantastic job with the many variations of his theme music, and it really emphasizes the silent killer aspect of his character. I think it really goes to show how good of an author Araki is when you root for the bad guy and forget that he even is a bad guy until you get brutally reminded when he murders that couple in their own apartment. Killer Queen is easily one of my favorite stands in the series, and its versatility is awesome. It's perfect for Kira, an unassuming man that can live out his dream, leaving no trace behind. Kira being so great makes the lack of him really apparent. Much like Dio in parts 1 and 3, the lack of Kira in most of the part can be a turnoff for some considering just how great he is of a character. He and Josuke are the perfect polar opposites, and in the opening chase, you could apply the lyrics to both of them really. They're the bad guys in both of their respective stories, and it's a really great dynamic that they share. I obviously still think that Jonathan and Dio share the better dyad, but these two are a really close second. Oh, and right before I wrap this up, God, the openings are so great. Crazy Noise Bizarre Town, super colorful, super imaginative, it's so freaking catchy. Chase, it comes in at the perfect moment. The story arc is getting really dark and the opening changes to reflect that. The lyrics are moody, the animation is tense and dark, and it's just really cool. I don't know why people shit on Chase. And then, oh my god, Great Days is so awesome. The music is bombastic, the visuals are outstanding, the theme of lightness overcoming darkness is awesome. It's unparalleled. I don't think there's anything that comes close to it, really. Other than maybe Sonochi no Sadame, Great Days is... it's just like perfection. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty much done here. Can't think of anything else to say, so thanks for listening to me flap my gums for about 20 minutes. I really hope this video was shorter than the others, because trust me, I'm well aware of my really bad habit of overanalyzing things and making 35-minute long videos. I'm really glad I made that teaser video just so I can come back and only make 2 videos, because I'm still stopping at Golden Wind, by the way. That's still the official end of the Jojo marathon. I'm not going past that. Get fucked, Jolene, Johnny, and Josuke. I'm not doing your parts. You losers couldn't even get an anime adaptation. You're hopeless. But once this is over, I'll broaden my horizons. Maybe do another marathon or something else. Maybe a couple filler videos, depending on what I want. I don't know if E3 is going to be canceled or not this year, but as long as Nintendo's still doing their digital event, you can look forward to another one of those videos. Trying to get those out yearly. Gonna be a new thing. But as for the marathon, join me next time as we venture to Italy and take a look at what is possibly the most disconnected and standalone part in the entire franchise. So, grazie e arrivederci. Probably push.